Do you have a brilliant startup idea but are stuck in the launching phase? Are you feeling overwhelmed by funding, marketing, or just where to start? Don't let your startup idea stay grounded. Visit our website at eapla.com to schedule a Blue Couch meeting and launch your startup journey today.
We're back on the cusp. Thank you very much. Matt Snyder's back with me here today. But hey, this is a really exciting episode for me because my wife's favorite, architect, designer, everything, that she grew up with in good old Plain Dealing in Bradley, Arkansas.
That's right.
Okay. She consults with you on everything.
She sends me multiple messages many, many times. Yes.
That's right. And she's never watched one of my podcasts, but she's waiting for this one to come out.
Well, she hit the right one to
we won't disappoint.
To tune in.
Yeah. So Myron, what is your business? What do you do?
I own Space Interiors. It's a small little independent. I don't have a brick and mortar. I run everything out of my, I jokingly say the world, I walk people into my dining room and I'm like, this is the world headquarters of Space Interiors.
I love that.
And it's just my formal dining room that is now, my office. And I've been in business for now just over 11 years. So.
And you're nationally known?
No.
You're not?
I am regionally, mostly locally known.
Internationally known.
Yeah. Well, I do have a couple of people from Wales that send me like, way to go. And but that's it. And then California, if you call that like another country, which I do.
That will qualify.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So no, I'm local and 99.5.
You're one of the examples we like to use to say, look, you can run a successful regional or national business out of Shreveport. It happens. There are a lot more of them out there than a lot of people.
When you come from Plain Dealing, Shreveport, that's a big step up.
It's a big city. I remember seeing the McDonald's downtown for the first time. I'm like, big city, and I was like, New York, But you can absolutely my gosh, you've got, like my buddy Joey, he has a very successful business. John Pickens has a very successful, Niven Morgan, Edward Nader.
Yeah.
These are all people that have just done so much more. Brady Blade, Bill Joyce. I could just name them off.
Yep.
So,
It can be done. It can be done.
Well, Myron, I met you at the first Derby Day I ever did.
Yep.
And that was like a time when I didn't know what I was doing and I was new. My marketing business was a year. And I remember you walking in, you had your cane.
Did I have a cane?
Yeah, oh dude.
I had really cool.
I can see, I remember. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna know this guy for a long. These guys are characters, this is gonna be fun.
Well, I went with Joey. That was our first thing, and he won. And they didn't even get me to get into the finals, and I was still a little mad about it.
Yeah, that cane threw him off. You don't see a guy with a cane.
Oh yeah. So anyway,
I knew that we would. From the minute I met you, I knew you were going to do big things. I knew you were an exciting guy. You looked at things differently than the normal Shreveporter, and that always draws me in. Mm-hmm. I love people that are looking at it a little different, and. It's interesting. What I want to talk to you about today is being successful, not working in the Shreveport box.
Yeah.
You are not, if you drew up Myron and Shreveport on a piece of paper, that probably would not work.
No one's ever going to calculate, wild success in interior design. Shreveport. I started out, before I did that, this is the funnier part. Before I did that, I was in the oil field.
Really?
Yes, I was a mud engineer.
Oh my God.
I was terrible at
I had heard that you went to Louisiana Tech, right?
I went to Louisiana Tech. I have a degree in graphic design. But the years that I went from 87 to 91, we had no computer classes. So I did everything with mechanical pens and straight edges and, compasses. Press on type. Oh, look, here's the W. You can make it an M.
And then 90% of Louisiana Tech, you went to the oil field.
Yeah, probably. But I did that after I did such a myriad. I am a good example of what not to do, but never give up. This job right here is my 31st job since I graduated college.
No way.
Not a lot of people know about that.
Well, everybody's going to know
Most of them
now.
are waiter jobs, and I'm like, more tea, but, that was probably half a dozen of them, or 10 of them or so. But, I've sold gutters, which I was terrible at that. I was in the oil field. I sold mats. I went to an interview one time. And the guy goes, how do you feel about mops and dirty rags? And I'm like, I love mops and dirty rags, Every day I have a dirty rag that I just need to throw away somewhere. And that was at UniFirst, and I was terrible at that job.
So wait, you wore like an oil field jumpsuit?
Oh, yeah. Hard hat,
Dude, that
steel-toed
is
boots,
no way.
fireproof
No
jeans,
way.
the whole deal. And I hated every nanosecond of it. I was riddled with anxiety. I weigh like 153 pounds now. I weighed like 130. People are like, is he sick? Because I was just like this anemic skeletal thing. I couldn't hold any food down. I'm that, and see, that's another thing people hate me for, because I can't like gain weight, right? And that's just one of the things
I don't
people hate
have
me. I
that
got a lot of
problem,
haters.
but I don't hate.
Somebody told me the other day, they said haters do two things. They hate and they make you famous.
Yeah.
And Myron, they definitely make you famous.
Dude,
I can't go a week
have
without
little-
hearing a Myron story.
I got a little group on Facebook. I just dubbed the term the other day. I call them, oh, dang it. I lost my term. Anyway, he's just like, why are people friends with Myron Griffing? And I'm like, I don't even know this guy. I've never met him. So, it's
That's
just...
okay. That's good.
That really.
So let's talk about all those jobs, because this is an entrepreneurial
Yeah.
story. We always try to find something with each story that matters to entrepreneurs. You did 31 jobs.
That's right.
To find what you, one, are passionate about, but two, extremely talented at.
Yeah, well,
Tell that story. How do you get there?
I grew up like in Bradley, Arkansas, in plain dealing. And my mother was she was a housewife, a homemaker, whatever they call it nowadays. And about 4 times a year, she rearranged the living room, but so she needed somebody else on the end of the sofa.
And you were
and
that
at
guy.
the other side of the armoire. And we had 3 armoires in our living room. And so she would rearrange it. And finally, when I was about 12, I was like, I don't really like that there. She was like, well, where would you put it? And I was like, well, I'd put that over there and this over there and move that over into there, maybe at like an angle. And we did it. And she goes, well, that actually looks pretty good. So that's kind of where it started. And then I literally would come back, go to college, work on people's, not their dorm rooms, go to their houses and stuff. But I'd go over to my friend's house after college, and we'd be going out on Friday night. And I'm like, you know what? Why don't we stay home and get a pizza and rearrange your living room? They're like, that sounds terrible. And I'm like, come on, it'll be fun. and that is really, I've literally worked for food. And so I did that for years and years and years. I got into the oil field because it sounded great. You work 2 weeks and you're off for 2 weeks. You're off 6 months out of the year. But what they don't tell you is the time that you're working 16 to 20 hours a day.
Right.
And that the time that you're off the first 3 days is just catching up on sleep.
Yeah.
And then everybody else is still working their normal job. So, I'm like, hey, it's Wednesday night. You want to go out and do something? They're like, I have to be at work in the morning. I'm like,
Right.
So it just wasn't for me. God bless those men and women, but mostly men, that do that because they're needed, and it is a tough thing, and it's just not for me.
So how do you decide that you're going to take this talent and this passion and turn it into your business?
I got a call from my boss in the oil field, and he said, hey, I got to let you go. I can't find anywhere for you to go. And I'm like, thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate everything. And I just was like, oh, thank you, Lord. I'm so happy. And I literally dropped to my knees and was praying because I'd always felt like was floating. I was on my 30th job. That oil field was my and I was like, Lord, I am like 42 years old. I don't know what I'm going to, there's got to be something. And it was one of those things, it was like forest for the trees. It was right there the whole time. I'm arranging my friends on time off, and I'm doing all this kind of stuff, merchandising for Red Door Interiors and Knox Goodman and doing all that. and never thinking in my head like, can I make a living at this? I mean, like a real living, like one that I'm, that I need to, that I want. And I started out, and I said, I had no plan B. There was just none. I was like, all right, I'm going with it. Whatever skills you gave me, I'm doing it. And I mean, the first year and a half was pretty lean. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I was starting from zippity doo dah, and then I got a call from Jay Covington and Hugh Johnson about coming to their house, and that's what that is. So,
wow.
Is that that article right there?
That's their house?
That's their house. Yep.
That's awesome.
So when I did this room has been basically dubbed the green room by the local community. I did not dub it, which is kind of cool.
And this was in Architectural Digest.
Digest, yeah.
This January.
Yeah,
That's
this past
awesome.
January.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if your people want to see it, but
Yeah.
there's the cover, which is a really good cover. And then there's me and my dog, Bo. And the green room.
Yeah.
So the room that actually showed up on the
So
page.
you took your leap at 42 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
I am currently 42, and the battle I'm like battling internally right now is like, oh, you're past your prime. Man,
way,
you've done
no way.
all your tricks.
No
you've done
way.
Well, and I thought that too.
Yeah.
I did. I was like, look, I'm 42.
I've been there. I'm on my third career.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've never looked back. And the way I see it is the previous two put me on this path. Okay. And I haven't met a deal that I would not entertain.
I agree with that. And I agree with, look, I wouldn't change anything.
I wouldn't either.
That I've.
That's so encouraging because I think you get to a point,
gosh.
especially if you've been successful, and you're like, oh man, I've been so successful. How do I keep it going? I'm old now. I'm not the young. I was the young guy for so. Everybody was like, oh, this is great. You're doing so much while you're young, little kid.
Right, you're gonna burn out.
Yeah.
No, but it is true. Everybody has self-doubt when you're in the fire. You're like, I don't see a way out. But my faith carries me through everything that I do. It's every aspect of my life, and so nothing is heaped upon me that I can't handle. And even though I may struggle at a certain moment, I mean, it is the brevity of that struggle internally is just like, you know what? Just I'm going to give it to the Lord,
right?
And
Absolutely.
He'll take care of it, and He does every single solitary time. And then I just kind of keep doing this.
Okay, I want to hit one more important point with you because I think it's important for what we talk about. Shreveport has good things and bad things.
Absolutely.
Every place. Finding a good thing and capitalizing on it is what I think Myron Griffing has done extraordinarily well.
Well, thank you.
And so I want to talk about you live in a really cool house in Spring Lake.
I do.
Shreveport
highest crime area apparently.
Yeah. Shreveport.
You didn't know that until
Joey.
Shreveport has amazing architecture.
Yes, we do.
The Wiener homes and
we have a thing of mid-century architecture that is almost unmatched.
That is very
Palm
unique.
Springs and
And so with that, you have people that value that.
Right.
And I think you've found a lot of business in that, which is you've created a very successful.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily work for like the big giant mid-century house on 70th. I've only been to like 2 of those. Most of mine are just regular old upper middle to lower upper Long Lakes.
Yeah.
And Lakeside on Long Lake and 12 Oaks.
Right.
And South Highlands and Piermont, So very, beautiful homes, but by no means in a modernist or
I'm
mid-century.
always blown away. People talk about Shreveport. We've all had these conversations about Shreveport, and there's no money there. There's no whatever. You drive around.
That's
how
untrue.
many
That's not
great homes? I mean, I drive through and I'm like, well, then who lives in all these monster houses everywhere?
Yeah.
I mean,
and look, and I love if Myron Griffing were in Dallas, Texas, there would be 37 of me.
Right.
But in Shreveport, gosh, I'm kind of an anomaly in the decorating world because most of them are female, which is fine. That's great, good. But I'm really one of the only male guy, males that do
And that's
my
a great
job
point.
in town.
Because if you were in Dallas,
Oh.
would you be
Yeah.
getting the attention locally
You'd be
that
slugging
would
it
put
out.
you in
No.
here?
You'd
No.
be
You
slugging
You don't
it
end
out.
up in here, I don't think, because
Yep.
the spotlight on you is so spread out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
a great
and
point.
it's
That's a
just-
great-
Look, we all. I think we can all attest. Joey, certainly you. Y'all show that. I mean, how many podcasts are out of Dallas, Texas?
Oh my God!
Thousands.
You couldn't. You
Probably
couldn't-
Thousands
hundreds
upon thousands.
maybe.
And I am a huge fan of the big fish, small pond thing. I mean,
Yep.
I am a carp in a fishbowl, and I love it.
Yeah.
Because you do get the attention, and that's not what it's all about, but it ain't bad. I don't just like, nope, no more attention on me, please. I'm kind of okay with it. I'm perfectly fine in front of a camera.
Yeah.
I have no issue with it whatsoever. But Shreveport has and whoever said Shreveport doesn't have any money is wrong.
Yeah, they're very.
I mean, we may not have a very wide river, but she's real deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is it's a loyal customer base, and we're still small enough to be word of mouthy. And I
Right.
love.
Yeah, we're
that.
the
I love that
smallest
too.
big city that you're going to find.
I think we should
Nothing-
promote ourselves as the world's largest town. Because that's what it feels like. Shreveport never really
Yeah.
feels like the big city to me. But
Right,
we've got
right.
most of the amenities.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. I mean, it's something. It's the tippity top of towns.
In Louisiana.
We're the largest town. That's our
World's largest town right here. You're right here on the cusp.
Just claim it.
Yeah, but we are so quick to jump in and just cut Shreveport for 1,000 reasons.
The Shreveport bashing is so, you know what? Go live somewhere that's better, And if you do go live somewhere that's better, it's going to be 7 times as expensive.
Been there.
Just because your population is going to be larger, you're going to have more crime.
Absolutely.
And you're not going to
Jamie
be
looked
able
at me when I said, we're moving home. She said, we're doing what?
Yeah.
Going to Shreveport.
Yeah.
All right? She doesn't complain now.
Yeah.
Okay, because I
I
got
mean-
her out of D.C.
My house in Dallas or D.C., it would be $3.7 million in D.C. In Dallas, it would probably be 900,
Yeah.
Yep.
850 to 9. And I
Yeah.
got mine for like less than 3.
I know.
You
The
know?
home you can have in Shreveport, Louisiana for 300,
Oh, yeah.
400
Yeah.
grand.
We just got
It's
a
unbelievable.
company out of California, all right, that's moving to Shreveport, all right, 150 jobs, okay? And they all look at it and go, oh my God, I'm going to sell my house in California and I'm going to be able to buy a mansion here.
And they
okay?
will. They
They
do.
will.
And they will.
Yeah.
And we said, that's exactly right, and that's why you ought to be.
And
here.
there's
You should call Myron and let him.
And I know the guy.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I know the guy that can help you get it.
You know what? Let's make that your style. But yeah, I mean, look, I'll dog on Shreveport because I believe in calling a spade, right? And I may say things that irritate people and piss people off, and that's fine. If you please everybody, then you ain't doing it right.
That's
right?
true.
So, but I never lie. I'm a fact, truth, godly man.
Yeah.
And Shreveport is probably one of the easiest cities to build a small business. And I've lived in Dallas, Charlotte, Tampa, Kansas City, which is awesome. Where else have I lived? Monroe. But yeah, it's a great place to live, be, and it's a great place to start a
great
business.
place to be your own boss.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it is.
Like
Yes.
it really is.
Yeah.
It
And
would
there's
be-
plenty of opportunity, and
It
you
is.
can be national, like we started with. You can be national right here.
I mean,
you can get it. Yeah.
hello.
Yeah.
There she
absolutely.
blows.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
All right,
all
well,
right.
this is awesome.
Myron, this has
Thank you,
been
Myron.
great.
thank you.
Yeah, and
Thanks,
I
gentlemen.
finally got somebody on an episode that my wife will
Gonna
watch.
get your wife to
Yeah.
watch.
Enjoy the podcast? We would love your feedback about today's show and who you think should be our next guest. Send us an email at info@eapla.com. Also, be sure to share the show and leave a comment on our social media post.